Hey, what's up guys, it's Shamrock here with another quick video for you. This is for Altairus, which is the dragon boss in Vortex Pinnacle. So I actually posted a video on this a couple of days ago. That was on an 18, so this is actually on a 20. And the reason I'm posting again is because I actually played this one very well. I played it a lot better than I played the 18, just with my cooldown management, my positioning, like the choices I made throughout the fight. So I just wanted to give you guys a better video, a better point of view for how to do this boss properly. Real quick before we get into it, looking at the talents I chose for this run, really the only important thing on the left tree, like you can copy this exactly, but just some things to point out. On the left tree, I've spec'd down into Creation Core and Totemic Recall. So this gives me an extra 2 Cloud Bursts, which is great for the Altairus fight as well as the last boss for this dungeon. And then on the right side, I've gone fully into Continuous Waves to buff Primordial Wave, and I also have High Tide and Tidebringer as well as Ancestral Reach. So my chain heals are really buffed, and I have a Primordial Wave style to play around. Alright, going into the boss, the most important thing is obviously positioning, because you always want to be upwind of Altairus, which basically means that the wind on the screen, like the graphic, is hitting you before it hits the dragon. What I find really helps is just trying to be aware of when you're moving for other mechanics that happen throughout the fight, whether it's the breath or the downburst. You really want to try and make sure that you're moving in a way that you consistently stay upwind, and that way you'll keep that haste buff and you'll take less damage as well, because you won't take the dot damage from being downward. So it's a lot easier said than done, but just be aware, like if you need to move left or move right in order to keep that upwind buff but still move out of something, and that's just going to help you sort of plan and make sure that nothing kind of catches you off guard. So for instance, if you know you have to move left and then the breath comes, then you can just go ahead and do that, and you don't have to scramble at the last minute or take the wrong side. Okay, we did lust, so actually a great strategy I found so far is lusting on the first pull, and that way you have it for the dragon and the last boss as well, which is great. So we had lust for that first downburst, which is why I didn't use any major cooldowns, but I did use a nature swiftness as well while I was in the air with the chain heal. So that was how I kept everyone alive for the first downburst. And then the second one, I believe I pop Healing Tide, but we'll see. Here it comes now. Yeah, and there you go, Healing Tide. So when you're up in the air, you can't really do anything, you can't heal. So it's really important to save Nature Swiftness, Healing Tide, or Ascendance for those moments, because those are things that can sort of heal while you're incapacitated. It's also great to save Astral Shift, your defensive, or even health pots and health rocks as well for when you're up in the air, so that way there's less chance you're going to die, and also you can focus on the other people in the group. Ancestral Guidance, that should be used somewhat early in the fight, so that if the fight drags on, you can get it again at the end. But notice I didn't use it for any specific mechanic. I kind of just popped it to keep up with healing the group, and also to conserve mana, because you can heal less and keep the group topped up. I also popped a mana potion as well. This is a great fight to have one. It's very taxing, so if you're not someone who carries around mana potions, you should change that, because it does make things a lot easier when you're trying to heal tough bosses like this. Alright, so for this downburst, I used a Nature Swiftness, and that was enough to keep everyone alive. I had it with a chain heal, and then also with just the regular heals I had going out. Okay, it's great if you're running Lava Surge, the Lava Surge talent, as well as Master of the Elements, because that's going to give you some free Lava Burst to use, and that's going to beef up whatever heal you use next. So it's great to pair with High Tide chain heals especially, but it really works with everything, and it also helps you get more damage in. Okay, for this downburst, if I'm not mistaken, I think I used an Ascendance. And Ascendance is great for this mechanic, because while you're up in the air, it's going to give you a burst of health, which is going to help save you, and then that is also going to splash on other nearby group members, which will hopefully save them as well. And then once you land, you can just start pumping out some heals, which with this haste buff, if you are standing upwind where you're supposed to be, makes Ascendance really powerful for this fight. I also popped my totemic recall there as well, just because I didn't have any cloudbursts left, and I also don't really have any cooldowns other than slink. So you'll notice I actually didn't even use Spirit Link this whole fight. Spirit Link I try to save if things start to go badly, or if we have to run into like, say we're standing upwind and then the wind changes and we're like all the way across the room and it's going to be really hard for everyone to get there without taking a lot of damage. That's a great spot to drop Slink. It's really just in case you have an emergency, or you know, if you're running out of mana or something like that. That's when I would use that. But that fight went really smoothly, so fortunately I didn't even have to use it. But yeah, so I hope that helped. If my commentary wasn't necessary, you can watch again, and you can see the ability tracker that I've included on the top left, and you can just watch it with your own music or whatever, and just sort of check out what I'm casting, the order in which I'm casting it, when I'm casting it to deal with whatever mechanic's happening. I'll also put a quick breakdown on the screen so you can see exactly what percentage of what my heals were, and I believe so this was 121k HPS, so pretty good for a fight like this. Obviously, you can go even higher than that, especially if people take more damage than they should be, but just because this was so clean and the cooldowns were used properly and everything like that, it was able to pump some pretty big numbers there, so that was fun. All right, anyways, I hope this helped you, and I will see you next time with another guide.